talk about how this new process and your idea of simplicity.
Right.
And how simplicity is really working into your style, it's working into the products, how you're pairing albums with wall art. Let's deep dive into that a little bit.
Yeah, sure. So fortunately, shout out to Bob again. Because he's super handy, and in January I said, like, I really need to get a refresh on my studio, and he went in and then he's like, this is all wrong. I'm going to rip out walls, I'm going to change the floor, I'm going to paint. And I, by the way, am in a glorified garage.
Yeah, but it's a really cool garage.
It is a really cool garage, but it's a 2-story garage maybe. So he proceeded, and actually right at that time I contacted you and I said, hey, listen, I want to do it right. I want to have all the wall art. I want to have everything set up to be selling.
Yep.
And I have some financial goals that I wanted to meet, and I knew that part of that would be selling product. So he provided a lot of white space for me, which was the most important. Mm-hmm. And you and I talked about, like, what are we going to do with this wall? And basically what I want to do is have everything, again, systemized. Even if it's not so much transparent to the client, but it's with Brittany and I, this is what it looks like for a family sale. Like, we want to see, ideally, some type of cluster, some type of wall gallery, and an album for every client. And then we'd also like that with seniors. Now, we haven't had as much success with that.
I'm going to pause for a second. Can you say that again for the people in the back? Just a little bit louder, a wall gallery and an album.
So, yeah, absolutely, a wall gallery and an album. And the reason, because we do sell a lot of wall art, and we do sell a lot of albums, but usually it's either or, and I don't think it needs to be either or. I think it should be both.
Right.
So
I do too.
I know you do. I get it. Like, I know some photographers out there are going to be exactly the same as me, as I have a lot of repeat clients. So you're not every single time going to get every single thing the same, but every year they can order an album, for sure, 100%. And I think changing up wall art, like, create something where you can either add on to it. We really encourage our clients to send us a picture of their wall. And then we talk about, like, hey, we could do this year, and next year we could do this. I have a lot of clients where they've added these amazing galleries all the way down, like a big picture wall or something like that. And we've even talked about, like, what's going to look good together in terms of clothing as your kids grow, in terms of location, how's it all going to, it's an art consultation. Right. So I think if you're spending so much time on the front end to talk about outfits and talk about location and spend time on lighting, and they've spent a lot of money on just, like, the session and getting everything together, that it should be on the wall, and then they should also have an album. There's just not enough space on the wall to put all the great shots. So there has to be a place for the extra shots that are still great.
Absolutely. And I think that's a really great spot to talk about the album here. So this morning, you got to see this album come to life.
I did.
And I do want to point out, too, so I'm just going to hold this out to Connor so he can see it. So this is an acrylic cover album, and this has the champagne chrome, which we were talking about the color tone of the images and the color tone of the cover material, and it's just going to work out perfectly here. I'll hand that to you, and if you want to kind of hold that end, and we'll just kind of flip through here. So this has the white inserts and white end sheets. So just a beautiful...
This is my backyard.
Yeah. It's not my backyard. I wish that it was. But just to make sure that people understand here what the concept is. So this whole session, or the images that were the favorite from the session, went into the album. And then this afternoon, you're going to see an acrylic be made of one of the images. And that's just one that's going to go into the gallery for the wall.
Right.
So what Kristin is doing, just so it makes sense to everybody here, is that she is selling both, not an either or. It's going to be, here's a beautiful wall grouping, but since you don't have room on the wall for 30 images or 40 images, let's also do this.
Yeah.
And it's not either or. And I really like that. And your intent, and correct me if I'm wrong, is each of the groupings in the studio is going to have a companion album to go with it, which is an awesome thought.